We're always live.
Okay, I just want to try to be...
But we're not live. Nobody's watching this, okay?
Correct.
What I'm saying is there's not a million people sitting at home right now looking at us, okay?
Correct.
We're going to be live, though. So
But the
we're going
idea-
Yes, but nobody's going to be watching us.
Yeah, but we're going to be going live.
But nobody's going to be watching us, though.
You never
That's
know.
what I'm getting at.
Yeah, but we're going to be going live in 3, 2, 1.
Well, hello there. My name is Bryan Young, and this is While a Cigar is Lit podcast. Basically, it's the pontification of my brother and I on social issues, movies, and just about everything else that we know about. Every week, we're going to be having a cigar because we love cigars. And this week, we're going to be having 2 cigars from my favorite pack. The Alec Bradley pack. It's the Toro pack. You get 4 Toros for $25. It's a great deal for cigars. Now, I'm Bryan Young, and I live in Ohio with my brother. He lives in Indiana. We don't live together because we both have wives, and we both have families. But one thing that I'm really kind of upset about and peeved are liberals, commies, socialists, and Marxists. Frankly, they're the scourge of the earth. And we want to try to help as many of those people out of their doomy, gloomy world and bring them into the light of capitalism, the light of money and prosperity.
Free market system.
And the free market system. So while I light my cigar, my brother will tell you about him and what he really knows, which is very little.
Well, my name is Tim Young, and I'm his brother. I'm his younger brother.
Okay, well, anybody can tell you have more gray hair than I do.
That's true. That's true. I do. And then the engineer booth is our PDQ, my nephew. My nephew talked me into this.
Now, these are Turo cigars.
And then my daughter, who's my agent and my editor, she encouraged me to participate in this podcast. And actually, the podcast is In the Shed podcast by Shangri-La Production. What about the cigars?
Well, the cigars that I'm smoking is a Turo. This is a Turo Alec Bradley American blend.
A Toro?
But it's a Tempest. It's one of my favorites. It's a Tempest. So if you like Tempest cigars. And remember about cigars, you don't inhale a cigar. Okay? A cigar is...
You puff it.
You puff it.
This is
okay, you do not ever inhale a cigar.
Alec Bradley, Mundial.
Yeah, Mundial.
Okay.
You don't, right. He'll pontificate a lot of times. Just kind of ignore him a lot of times. Not a lot of times. Just ignore him sometimes. Well, not sometimes, but he's an artist. See, let me explain to you artists, okay? An artist, whenever they're painting a painting, you can really understand who an artist is and understand his dysfunction in life and his quirks and idiosyncrasies is while you're watching him painting or when he's talking about his painting, because his painting is really never done, okay? It's never finished, and so his life is never finished. Nothing is ever finished. He can't make decisions. He can't make a yes or no. If you come up to Tim, he cannot make a decision, yes or no.
I think that's possible. That's true with some artists, because I remember Edouard Degas, a post-impressionist painter, realist, and then impressionist, post-impressionist.
Yes, I know you've told me this 100 times. He used to go to these people's houses and keep painting.
Well, he'd remove the paintings from the homes and take them back to his studio to fix them, to add something to them. And finally, one of his favorite patrons ended up chaining the paintings to the wall to prevent that.
So basically, this show is basically going to be about, well, us smoking a cigar for an hour and enjoying them, because
about 55 minutes.
Well, I don't know if this will. Yeah,
we might get 45 to 55 minutes out of it.
That's all, folks. Good grief.
That's a possibility.
And we're going to be talking about different issues, things that have happened, and trying to get people to get out of their...
things of interest.
Yeah, get things of interest. But get their head out of their proverbial butt, okay? Or sand, because there's a lot of people that are just stupid, okay? And...
well, misguided.
Misdirected,
misguided, delusional.
which is pretty much stupid.
We're just illuminating. We're trying to bring a little bit of illumination. Insert a lot.
Okay, so the first topic that we want to bring up, okay, is the Black Panther movie. Now, my new son, Mark. Nope.
We first we need to. What exactly are you smoking, Tim? You kind of briefly.
Well, I did mention it. It was the
briefly.
Alec Bradley Mundial.
Well, they're all from the Alec Bradley Turo Pack.
Yeah.
You
But
get
they're
4
the same-
cigars.
Are they the same cigar?
No,
I'm
these
not
are
a cigar smoker.
Two different types. These are two different.
In the same pack that
Same
you
pack.
both bought.
Yes, and it's a
Okay.
great deal because they're only $25, so you're getting a Toro, normally a $9.99 cigar, $10 for $6.
That's my nephew. He likes to. He's what I call him a Q.
So you
It's a code word.
have
Q.
2 different ones.
Yes.
One's a dark, one's a light, or what are we dealing with there?
Well, this is a Tempest, and see, I'm not into he's into all the little idiosyncrasies about cigars. You know, how is it? Is it rich? Does it have a coffee flavor? You know, I just like it because it smells good and it puffs good.
It does
okay?
smell good. A cigar does smell good.
It does smell good.
But I enjoy some of the characteristics.
Yeah, so you know what happened? So I went to Vegas a couple weeks ago, okay? And most Vegas casinos allow you to smoke. All the casinos allow you to smoke cigarettes and tobacco, okay? Now, I'm not a tobacco smoker, you know, because you inhale. And so that's, anyways. But, so we go into the Rio, that's the first casino we're there, and you're allowed to smoke cigars. They're giving cigars away, actually, to people. You know, and so then we go to the next hotel, okay? And I go to the craps table, and I'm about ready to light up, and the pit boss goes, "You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to have a cigar here." I go, "What?" There are 5 guys around me, all smoking cigarettes, but I can't have a cigar. I said, "Okay, I will go somewhere else to play the craps." So I went. I didn't spend any money in that casino. And all of a sudden, I can't remember what casino it was.
Huh.
But it's just like that's crazy. You're allowing.
I hear you.
Unbelievable.
That's paying homage to my darling Silk. Right, Q?
So this podcast is basically going to be about us smoking our cigars, having fun, educating. Now you guys can text us different things you want to talk about, or things. Email. You can tell us what you want to know about our opinions about things. There's one thing I'll be very clear with you, okay? And this really upsets my brother. My wife not so much anymore. But I know 97% of what needs to be known, okay? Similar to another very important guy on the radio, but I've known this way before him, okay? Oh, and don't forget, ask to subscribe, okay, to While the Cigar is Lit.
I think Q is throwing that at me.
Is he? Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. You know everything.
Yeah, that's right. Okay,
and
so anyway.
That particular radio broadcast, it's the information that's being shared on the show, the percentage that's used that is correct. Keep that in mind also.
Right, because I used to have a newsstand.
Because you don't know everything.
I know everything.
That's the
No, I do. I know everything. So you have never accepted that, okay? That's your problem. So when I had my newsstand, I used to have a guy come in and he used to say, "Hey, you got to listen to this guy on the radio. He's just like you." So wait a minute. So if he's just like me, that means that he's like me. So in that aspect, so if you've got issues and you don't understand something, you've got some marital issues, you don't know how to raise your children. Between Tim and I, we both have 10 children, and then I just adopted 4 new ones. So I'm going to be a dad until I'm 72. So, or I'll be home until I'm 72. So between that, we will be able to do a lot. So don't forget to subscribe to While the Cigar is Lit podcast, because you'll be, as Ronald Reagan once said, you'll have,
you might be enlightened.
You'll be enlightened completely, and, we just thank you.
Or completely turned off.
Turned off. You might actually hate us. And what are you doing with this finger here?
That's Q.
Why do you keep doing this?
Q's.
I know that.
We're learning. It means 1 minute.
I know. Well,
and
first
then
of all, we
turn
have
it
to
on
do.
a new
Well,
topic.
that's all, folks. Well, we do have to let people understand this right now. This is our first podcast, so if we get screwed up here, that's just the way it's going to be here.
Well, that's the whole point of the podcast.
I know, no kidding there.
There's
I know
millions of podcasts.
I know that. Why
There's so many.
Why don't you just play your little fiddle over in the corner?
It's
there?
not a fiddle.
Well, whatever
But
it's called.
but
It's
what I'm saying is this: the podcast. There's so many podcasts out there, and some of them are just horrendously boring and slow.
Well, people might think they were boring and
no,
simple.
I doubt it.
You don't think so?
But
huh?
and what we're trying to do is generate some semi-entertainment that's plays off of a number of other scenarios that we're familiar with in our youth, since we're very old people.
Well, you're very old. I'm a 58 years old. You're 66.
That's right. I'll be.
Well, you'll be a 70 before I do. That's for sure.
Well, that's because the joy in the Lord is my strength.
Unbelievable.
Joy of the Lord is my strength.
All right, so what we're going to talk about here is a couple of
joy
issues.
of
You can
the
turn off of that
Lord is
stupid
my
music
strength.
now. Now it's unbelievable.
joy
I'm going to have
of
to
the
listen to this
Lord
music
is
all
my
the time.
strength.
I'm going to go crazy here today. Good grief. Okay,
Well,
so the first thing we're
it's a
going to talk about.
ukulele.
Okay, first thing we're going to talk about is the Black Panther movie.
Oh,
Now,
cool.
I have not seen the Black Panther movie.
I haven't either.
And I won't see the Black Panther
I
movie.
will.
Well, you can and I'm not. And the reason I'm not going to see it is because I don't need to be lectured to that the white man or the European destroyed Africa. Okay?
Correct.
Now, I just don't need to be lectured about that.
And they don't
okay?
do a lot of lecturing in it.
But they make
things
the
are brought up
assumption that, if the
improperly.
white male and the Europeans didn't get into Africa, then everything would be wonderful. Kumbaya in Africa.
Well, I
okay?
have to agree with it does. The politically correct elements come from a liberal perspective in the film. They do botch it up.
That's liberals completely. That's all they ever do. Okay, and I like the way if you look Drudge Report, they said it was so funny because they were trying to hype this movie so much. It said,
well, it's a hype movie.
It said Black Panther movie #1 in 4 theaters or 7 theaters. Okay, not nationwide, but in 4 theaters. Okay. Now listen, I don't have anything wrong with all black movies. I don't have a problem with that. Matter of fact, one of my favorite characters in science fiction is Teal from the Stargate. TV series that ran for 10 years. I mean, he was one of my favorite characters. He was a black character, a well-developed, but just to make a character, just to make some political commie crap I just can't stand it. And Hollywood's, their social justice warriors are just constantly intimidating us or just I get to the point where I can't even talk right now.
Well, then let me interject here for a split second. References to the negative impacts of European colonization of Africa is what's presented, but totally ignores the oppression that the Muslim Arabs brought to the continent. And that's something that the bubble out there needs to understand.
Well, of course.
Including the international slave trade that's such horribly marked on millions of Africans during 1,400 years of Muslim history. And that's not brought up, and it should be.
Of course not.
It's a revisionist history. We see that a lot in a lot of films.
I mean, why did they ever talk about Booker T. Washington or talk about the guy? What's the guy with peanut butter? Well, who is that guy again? Was that Booker T. Washington that invented all the different ways to use peanut butter? He's
correct. George Washington Carver.
Yeah, George Washington Carver. Why don't they ever promote him and talk about him, all the great things he's done? See, the problem is, and this is the fact that people have to understand, the African community has to understand it, and you have to research it yourself, because before 1930, 80% of African Americans were Republicans. And 80% of their families were two-family father and mother families, okay? And not until the the New Deal, and then this stupid deal in the 60s.
Okay, we're the Panther movie. Can we get back?
I know.
To
Well,
the
this
Panther
all goes
movies?
back to
'Cause
this.
What I want
okay?
to bring up is it fails to mention that it was the Muslims who brought widespread slavery to Africa.
Correct.
I just want to punctuate that.
All right. Well, you punctuate it.
So-
What do you want to? What do you want to drill a hole in it or something?
And that many Africans sold their own brothers and sisters to the slave traders.
Of course, all
And
the
that
kings
needs
did.
to be continually brought up and to educate the peoples. And there are also comments that about supposedly social conditions, bad social conditions in the United States. Well, the social conditions in the United States are far better than social conditions in other parts of the world, including many, if not most, African countries that are run by Africans today. So these are things that just need to be, we need to be aware of and to be communicating.
I'm just tired of being lectured by Hollywood in everything. If it's social justice, it's the gay agenda. Everything has to be. There's less than 1% of gays, and every movie has to have a gay. Like there's what it seems like nowadays. There's more gays than there are heterosexuals.
Well, there is a moral compass that's skewed and it's completely broken in Hollywood.
I know, and we're all going to go on.
And I
that.
don't look to Hollywood for any of my.
Well, that's why
morality.
I don't. I'm just saying that.
Now, you know what's interesting, too, with the film The Black Panther, which I'd like to see for its cultural aspects. I want to see.
That's because you're an artist. You always want to look for the artist aspects. You want to watch the freaking
well, I want to hear the
trailers
music.
at the
I want
end.
to hear the music. I love credits. I like the beginnings.
Credits.
I love the endings. I want to see the color, the culture. But there's a lot of aspects to the film itself, too, that need to be brought out and pointed out. But what's funny about this is, again, it's hype. It's hype. A lot of this has happened in the past. For instance, there were a lot of other first black superheroes in film. But this one, they seem to make this the first one or the biggest one. But remember, wasn't Will Smith in Hancock? You had Will Smith in Hancock as one. You had Robert Townsend in Meteor Man. Remember Meteor Man, 1993? Halle Berry.
But those
as
were not,
Storm
those
in
were-
X-Men movies.
Those were not
Nick Fury, recent Marvel movies. Those are heroes. Those are superheroes.
No, I know that, but a strictly all black cast.
Well, that's
they're
how
hyping.
it-
How about Blade?
And Blade
That's how he got all his money. Wesley Snipes,
in
and
Blade.
then he lost it all.
Spawn?
And Spawn. And then way back was the not a superhero, but a black hero was the detective. Can't think of his name now.
Jackie Chan.
No. Can't think of. Almost it was there. I was almost there. But the point is,
Black
it's just all the hype.
detective. Oh, you mean what's his name from?
It was a movie.
Yeah,
It was a
you
movie.
mean with Rod Steiger, The Heat of the Night?
No.
Sidney
No,
Poitier?
this was
Mr. Tibbs?
No, it was no, not that. It was can't think of it. But
Well, yeah, you can't. You don't think very well. You know that? You're trying to read too much and you're thinking too much.
well, one thing I can't spout a lot of stuff. I have to have notes because I do work from notes from research. But there's an interesting review that came out on the Black Panther. I thought was some interesting comments by Armand White. Now he's a black critic and he writes for the National Review. And this is what he said about the Black Panther film. Black Panther turns racial politics in what Malcolm X called politricks. And then he goes on to state the medium's enthusiasm for this bland action flick is maddening. The problem isn't one particular movie, but the celebration of the illusion of progress. And he goes on to discuss further this progress of what supposedly, to him, what he thought was a bland action flick is just trying to push this progressiveness that does not really exist. And that's from a black critic in the National Review.
That's because progressives want to always live in this freaking utopia that they think they're trying to create, and there is no utopia.
There is no.
And the closest thing to utopia is capitalist.
I think one thing that is ironic about Black Panther is this perfect utopia is full of a city of just one race.
Correct, and that's another thing that
why
people aren't talking about. That they're not allowing other races or immigrants into it. There's a wall that's been set up, and only a certain peoples is allowed into it or maintained in it, which is a curious thought on that whole thing. Another critic, and this is another one for because there are so many in Rotten Tomatoes. There are so many critics. It's phenomenal, and it's like everybody's got an opinion. So why not throw something out? I found these two in the Rotten Tomatoes. The first one was by Armand White, but the other one's by Avi Offer, a New York City movie guru. And he says, at a running time of 2 hours and 14 minutes, Black Panther is an insipid, soulless and overproduced bore. That was his comment. Please be sure to stay through the end credits for post-credits stinger. Now, I'm not sure what that meant as far as a stinger, but as curious as calling the whole film a bore is pretty strong. So I'm curious about you. There's just this pendulum of moving from greatness to hype. People are fawning over the movie.
Are you listening to him? See, he when he gets onto a pontification,
to the other side, then it's a bore.
And talks.
And I want to see it because of that. At my age,
good.
He
keeps pointing. Look at the camera.
At my age, films. I just look for fun things of interest.
Speaking of things that interest you in films, behind you, you might.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I like that.
Could
picture.
you? What is that?
That is Whistle Jacket.
Okay, I am not going down this road. Okay,
that's a famous painting. My brother always asked me.
No, I do not ask.
Remember the movie?
No, because it's stupid. I don't want to see it.
No, I know. That's Whistle Jacket.
I don't care who it is.
Okay.
Nobody cares about it.
Everybody does.
No,
the whole public cares.
No, they can't. They don't care.
This
is
painted by George Stubbs.
Take that off.
Okay, no, don't take it off, Q. We went to see the movie.
Do you realize that nobody cares?
Are you kidding me? They're going to start emailing and texting in the interest that they have for this because many of them saw it and didn't realize they saw it. We went to see The Darkest Hour.
I can't believe you put that
Remember
up there.
when we saw The Darkest Hour?
Yes, I know. I've seen it seven times. One of my favorite movies
It's one of
the
my
last
favorite too.
10,
With
20
Winston
years.
Churchill. Correct. Okay, fine. Well, this is one of my... We were watching the film, and there was the scene where Winston Churchill is sent to Buckingham Palace to talk to the king, King George VI, who's going to anoint him.
Don't you know that nobody cares?
Everybody
This is what
cares.
I'm trying to point out.
And he's
you
walking
find
down,
the littlest thing in a movie that nobody cares
I
about.
fell out of my seat in the theater.
Yeah, you probably
people behind me fell out of my. People were tapping
yourself.
me on the shoulder and saying, "Did you see it? Did you see it?" And I said, "Yeah." I can't believe it. And Winston Churchill, played by Gary Oldman, does a phenomenal job. He's walking.
No, it's
down
not phenomenal. He probably is the best Winston Churchill I think I've ever seen.
He's one of the good ones.
No,
Albert Finney was good too.
Albert Finney was good
so we'll
too.
put those two up there, okay?
All right, they're probably equal.
Winston
Churchill. Okay, let's get back to Albert Finney.
He's walking down the hall of Buckingham Palace. Supposedly we're in Buckingham Palace. He walks down the hall, and then the camera swings, and there's this massive painting on the wall. This painting of George Stubbs.
Okay, now we're going to be going into the shooting of Florida.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Yes, we are.
No.
We'll move on we'll just finish your point real quick.
Yeah, because we need to move this along.
Here's the point. Nobody else noticed it except for you.
But the point is that I'm thinking to myself, there's George Stubbs, there's Whistle Jacket, and I'm going, why is that painting in Buckingham Palace? It was never. I'm thinking to myself, is it art history, interest in art history? That painting wasn't in Buckingham Palace. And then it dawned on me, well, where was it located? Because it married was in the Wentworth Woodhouse. That it was a commission piece by Marquis of Rothingham.
Artists, okay? And artists have this really weird
what I found out was,
it
shocked me. This isn't Buckingham Palace. So what I found out was Sarah Greenwood, who was the interior designer, production designer for the film, had to find a location to substitute for Buckingham Palace.
This is not going anywhere.
Okay, it's going everywhere, and this is where the Wentworth Woodhouse in Rotherham. She found it because she walked in, and she actually said when she was looking at it, it had a really tired look. So they used that set. They went into the Woodhouse and used that set to film Buckingham Palace. That's fascinating.
So was it really there, or was it?
And that was a copy that was in the Woodhouse. They went, and so the filmmakers didn't
here's
like that copy.
See, here's
Hey,
the
could you
here's
be quiet
no
for a
no no no
second?
here's the
So the
here's
filmmakers
the
didn't like it.
situation.
Would
Here's
you
the
shut up for a
situation.
minute?
No,
So
I
the
will not shut up
the
because this
filmmakers-
is an absolute joke. See,
No,
this is
the filmmakers
this is
hired
exactly
another
the
artist
point.
to paint
This is exactly
another
the
copy.
This is the point that I'm
So
trying
it
to
would
get at.
film better for
oh
the
my
movie.
gosh, I'm going to pull my hair out. This
Well,
is
you should.
This is exactly the point that I'm trying
That's
to
what I
bring up.
thought
is that
fascinating.
he because he's an artist, okay. He looks at all these little things.
And this
in
is one of my
movies.
favorite paintings.
And
I go to the movie now to watch this.
89% of people.
It's fascinating.
No, I would say 100% of the people have no idea.
So the original painting was in the
He's just gonna
Whistle
keep talking about it.
Jacket room.
He's going to keep on talking
It was
about
in the Whistle Jacket room. Remember
Unbelievable.
that. And there were two other paintings that were in that room. One by, I think it was Joshua Reynolds, and the other one by Thomas Lawrence.
Unbelievable. And you're going to keep on
Fascinating.
talking about it.
I'm just letting you know.
No, I don't
I'm giving
care.
you a little
Why
bit
don't
of
you get your
historical
little
fact.
fiddle out and fiddle?
It's a ukulele,
The
Jack.
Lord is in my life or something.
No, the joy of the
The
Lord.
joy of the Lord or something. Why don't you play that while I'm talking or something?
Well, Q wanted to know, and the public wants to.
No,
That's
the public did
fascinating-
not want to
That's
know.
fascinating stuff.
You wanted to bring this in.
I love
guess
George Stubb.
It's all
I like
about
Whistle Jacket.
you and
so next time
and-
you see the film Darkest Hour, watch for the painting Whistle Jacket, and can you show the picture at the London Gallery? Because it's actually not that. No, the picture. Oh my! I sent it to you. I sent the pic.
Oh well.
Why he's talking?
Now, so this cigar is doing real well. Notice how that it burns nicely all the way around. There's no canoeing and all that. The Alec Bradley
What's
makes a
canoeing?
really good.
What do you mean by canoeing?
Well, canoeing is that you smoke it too fast, right? And it starts to get a canoe like this is all
Canoe
burned on
shape,
the
like a canoe
canoe shape.
It's called boating. Yes.
Boating, canoeing. Good grief! Shipping,
Does
submarine.
little paddles come out of the sides?
What an idiot!
Have you got the London Gallery yet? If
No, we're not.
if you're
We're
ever
going
in
on.
London-
We're moving on.
Let's
Okay,
go- no, let's
I'm
go
not
to-
going to London right now.
Will,
Okay,
you and I-
because there's all a bunch
we-
of commies there.
No,
Okay.
well, we go there and educate. But we can go to the London Gallery together, and I can show you Whistle Jacket live. My son Tim, not that one. You're showing the Democratic Party there, the blind leading the blind. Could you go to the London Gallery? It should be under Whistle Jacket London Gallery. If you ever get an opportunity, check it out. It's a beautiful painting, textural, touchable, oddly rendered, and there's no atmosphere. It's beautiful. Cast shadows are under the heels. That's what gives it its body and its strength. I just was fascinated. It wasn't in Buckingham Palace.
Now, the next thing that we're going to talk about, these are so good. Good cigar. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is the shooting in the Florida. Is that what our next topic is?
Yeah, unfortunately, we had another school shooting.
Well, you know what's so funny? I was watching Fox and Friends this morning, and a Butler County Sheriff in Ohio, he's offering concealed classes now to all the teachers, and already free. He's offering these classes free. He's booked up already. Everybody wants to take these classes. You know, it's so funny. You go to Elmwood High School, the complex, right there in the front of the door. No guns allowed. I mean, it's like
98% of shootings have happened in gun-free zones.
It's unbelievable. I guarantee you that if a state would announce that it's concealed carry for all the schools, you will never have a shooting in a school again. And you don't tell anybody who's got them, nobody will get shot in that, because the criminal or the person that has that gun doesn't know who's got it and is not going to do it again. Plain and simple. But the liberals, you know, it's what it is. It's gun control. They just want to take every gun away from us. It's never going to happen in America, and so it's just a constant issue every time it happens.
It's a loop.
And what's really okay? So here I'm going to get into my Mr. Wiggins voice, because this really gets me upset, and I'm going to try to have We just made some ice in my ice machine.
There are solutions to it.
No, well,
I'll get
let me finish talking, and then you can pontificate on your little notes that you took. Okay. So the big fact here that what did you want to say? The big fact that people do not to talk about is this: why all of a sudden did they talk about this shooting in Florida, but they don't talk about the 600 to 700 people that got shot in Chicago? What about all those people that keep getting shot?
And
why don't they talk to them about them? I think it's a big commie crap.
And why do we have security in all these other venues? All the sports venues, they have security, armed security.
Let's since we're in Ohio, let's watch a real quick video on.
Uh-oh, pixels are broken up. But the venues.
You have to use
I can't hear him.
You have to use the other remote, the big long one.
These are the things that have to be looked at, and action has to happen before. And look, you're never going to fix all of this, but common sense.
He's an idiot.
Laws make sense.
Kasich is an idiot.
Let's start it over real quick.
Mine this morning. He's a big gun collector. I said, if all of a sudden you couldn't buy an AR-15, what would you lose? Would you feel as though your Second Amendment rights would be eroded because you couldn't buy
a smokescreen
AR-15? These are the things that have to be looked at, and action has
I tell you, John Kasich is he is the biggest failure. You know, it's amazing how these politicians. You know, I am so glad he never got to be president, because this guy is an absolute. You know, I don't understand some of these Republicans.
It's continuous loop rhetoric.
He has an obsession. He has a hatred toward Trump. Okay, it's a disease. He cannot believe that Trump won.
Within cities that have gun control, it hasn't helped them one bit.
It has nothing to do with the type of gun it is. Nothing.
I was talking to a friend of mine this morning.
Now, how long are you going to be playing this guy? My blood pressure is going to go right through the roof when I have to listen to Kasich. Okay.
Now be careful.
So that's his solution. You said you had a solution, Tim?
No, there are solutions that have been brought out that we just for some reason don't want to put them on the table, and a couple of them are brought up. Is one, why not have security within the public school system? They have them in every other venue. You've got them in every other possible venue you go to. Hollywood actors have their own security.
Oh, they're always carrying their own
Everybody
guns.
that's of importance has their own security.
And then you got what's his name? That stupid night guy, Jimmy Kimmel. This guy is an absolute moron. I tell you, just
Okay, calm down. Remember, you have
to talk to my voice
here. You have
here.
to pull emotion out of it and put in reason.
I know that, but you know what? Sometimes their brain cells just get about the small as a peanut here.
Another solution is let the states determine how they want to protect.
Oh, we can't have the states' rights. No, you can't have states' rights.
Learn how to protect their
well, you know what? Here it
their
is.
Schools, and not the Fed. The Feds can advise, they can assist, they can help, but let the states deal with each of these areas. You've got retired military. You've got retired.
Can I make a comment?
Well, that's all you've been doing is commenting. I'd like to.
It's called the Bryan and Tim Show. Okay.
Oh, you're first.
I'm first. You're second. Okay. Why don't you get in line? Okay.
Get in line.
Good grief!
But there's a lot that can be done if they. That's what I feel.
Here we go. He just keeps on going.
I feel
he won't stop.
The enthusiasm for these poor kids that are trying to have these
rallies.
Why
do you just put a chain on me, and then when you want me to talk, pull my chain? How's
with
that?
These rallies,
Get
but
your
they need to do research and
all that.
Study what the rallies are really for, and it's not for gun control. It should be for supporting
See what people don't understand.
And ideas for the protection of the schools.
What people do not understand is, well, it's like Ronald Reagan said. See, all you have to do is get out the Communist Manifesto, and you want to understand what they're trying to do to America. Well, just read the Communist Manifesto.
All right, was I clear on some of my
well, you know, we're still talking here, and you're kind of, interrupting me in my monologue here that I'm trying to do. And
you're always doing a monologue.
Well, you know, if you just shut your mouth and let me talk, it might help. But the fact of the matter is that back, there's one of my favorite James Cagney movies. You dirty rat. He was. He's basically. I think it's called Nick. He's in Nick's bar, and he has his dopey buddy go get him some toys and trinkets and everything, and he tells him just to go buy a gun. And so he goes down to this shop and just picks up a gun. He brings back the gun, plays with it in the restaurant or in the bar. He plays with it. He's loading it, just kind of shooting around and everything. This is the 1940s conception of guns. See, we have a completely different conception of guns nowadays. Matter of fact, half the schools in the 50s had gunning classes. You had hunters bringing guns to school. There was not a big issue. But nowadays, because you're progressive, liberal, commie, Marxist, socialist, utopian, liberal progressives have ruined this country. And they just keep on. Well, I just sometimes can't handle it.
I
it makes my heart just boil.
It does.
I mean, they're so... 17 kids died in Florida. What happened to the 100 or 600 people that have died in Chicago? Oh, by the way, which have the largest or the stringent gun control in the country in Chicago, and 640 or more have died already in Chicago. Get a grip, people. Get a grip.
Well, Oprah Winfrey, she actually had a 60 Minutes interview on gun control.
Oh, I bet that really went well with that nice liberal Chicago moron.
So Trump tweeted, "Just watched a very insecure Oprah Winfrey, who at one point I knew very well, interview a panel of people on 60 Minutes. The questions were biased and slanted. The facts incorrect. Hope Oprah runs so she can be exposed and defeated just like all the others."
No, it's just showing their hypocrisy, their absolute disdain for Trump. Half your Republicans have disdain for Trump. They just cannot. I mean, here, you know what? Here's the fact of the matter is, okay? Donald Trump never ran for office before in his entire life. He basically went against 15 seasoned politicians. And what did he do to those 16 politicians? He murdered them. He slaughtered them. And he didn't apologize for anything he said. And that's exactly what Republicans do, is they constantly apologize for every frickin' thing they say. But Democrats can say whatever they want. They can get away with whatever they want, and they never have to apologize. And for once, I finally saw a guy that actually is going to take it right to the Democrats. But what does Kasich do? We can't have that kind of discord. No. We have to be more civil. Civil. All right. I've got to calm down.
You got to remember, emotion, go to reason. Yes, civil. Study your facts.
And also, whenever you're smoking a cigar, you try not to knock off your ash, because your ash needs to grow as long as because what it does, it filters out the smoke and everything. It gives it a better flavor.
It can. There's a little trick, though. There's a little trick to make your ash longer. If you just take a paper clip, straighten it out, and just before you start your cigar, put it all the way down through it, and that ash will attach itself to that paper clip, and you can have that ash go all the way to the end.
A paper clip, huh?
A paper. You got to stretch it out, then slide it down.
And have you done that before?
Well, I've.
You haven't done it then.
Yes, and you can get the ash to be that long, and you get a nice without it falling off. But that can be true. But sometimes you have to be careful. You don't. The ash doesn't break off onto your.
I'm going to go ahead and knock mine, and then I'm going to burn around it here. So anyway.
Q. Did you
what
put up my London gallery yet?
What are you doing this, 2? What does 2 mean? What does 2 mean?
Did you put my London
2
gallery?
2 minutes? We have 2 minutes or what?
Where's my London gallery?
20 minutes? 20 minutes left?
You got a lot of cigar left.
I got plenty of cigar left. Now, another thing here, and don't forget to subscribe to Why the Cigar is Lit. And you know what? You have to understand that this is our first podcast that we've ever done, okay? And my brother is a very insecure person, okay?
I'm shy.
He's very shy.
I'm very shy.
Okay?
Tim, is this what you want up?
No, it's the one I sent you. I sent you the pic.
Just talk quietly over there, okay? I can talk.
I
to you.
sent you the pic. It should say Whistle
So-
Jacket London Gallery.
So we have to
I
understand.
put that up, and it was the blind leading the blind. That's
No, you got the wrong. No, the blind leading the blind is blind leading the blind. That's the Democratic Party. I'm talking about Whistle Jacket London Gallery. I sent you 2 pics. It's a beautiful pic too. Can't wait to get over there and see that again.
Oh my
I remember
God.
I was in Spain.
Can we get away from this
the Prado
jacket thing, because it really nobody cares about this
Oh,
jacket.
you'd be surprised. They're going to.
No, I know they're not. I guarantee you there'll not be a single person.
I'm going to give free.
Well,
T-shirts.
I don't think we're going to get anybody watching our
I'm gonna-
podcast. Number
I'm
one.
going to get free T-shirts to give out to anybody that goes to the London Gallery of Art and sees.
Just don't forget to subscribe.
Make sure when you go to the London Gallery to send us
okay.
a, what do you call them, Instagram or
Please just go to our website or whatever we are, because we really don't know what we're doing here. We're doing this we're doing this for the fun of it, okay,
well, we're doing
guys?
it because of our nephew.
My son wanted to do this,
He's
so
my nephew.
I spent $40,000 on all this equipment, okay, and I have no idea why I
Well,
did
we
that.
haven't seen that. We
Yeah,
haven't
I
seen what you spent. There, whoa, there it is. Oh, that's sweet. That shows you how big
Oh,
it is.
my
That shows you how big
gosh.
that baby is.
Who
Look
cares?
at that. That's at the London Gallery. First one that sends me a clip of you standing in front of it, you get a free T-shirt.
We don't have T-shirts. What are you talking about?
We're going to get them. I got my daughter's going to work on it.
Oh, she is.
Yeah, she's.
And also, Chick-fil-A is our favorite restaurant. So if you like chicken sandwiches, go to Chick-fil-A. Of course, they should bring back their coleslaw. We're going to start a whatever you call it, a petition to get Chick-fil-A to get their coleslaw back. So,
oh, that's right. I miss coleslaw.
So we
That's
need
one
to
of
get
my
that
favorites.
back.
Especially as I get older, I enjoy the.
But you know
taste
why
of
they took it away? You know why they took it away? See, this is what really
Why they
upsets
take
me.
it away?
Because a bunch of progressive.
But why did they take it away?
Can I finish?
Yes, go ahead.
It's because a bunch of liberal, commie, pinko, Marxist progressives. Well, that's just too fatty. We can't have that type of fatty food in our.
How can they dictate that to a company?
Well, that's because they get pressured by all these different companies
Well,
in the
who's pressuring
government.
them?
Because the government and the EPA and all this
Does
other
that mean
crap.
KFC's going to get rid of their?
I don't know.
KFC can't get rid of their coleslaw. They have the best coleslaw.
I'm just saying everybody is conscious about calories and points and everything and
well, they ought
how
to be
many
more
of this and how many of that.
conscientious of their peanut consumption.
You know what? Here's the fact.
Peanuts can
here's
be
the
very
fact of
fattening.
Here's the fact of the matter.
What's the fact of the matter?
There's only one burger joint in this country that has it right. Okay.
Well-
now, unfortunately, they're located in California.
There's
okay?
one in
But-
Arizona we drove through. That,
Yeah, and I'm
was
going to
good.
be this burger joint only has burgers and fries, and they've been doing it for almost 50 years.
It's
okay.
good. It's okay.
It's called
but
In-N-Out Burger.
It's okay. It's
and,
good.
And
It's
they're
good.
exactly why McDonald's is screwed up. They want to make every type of thing, a McBurger, McRibs, McCrap, McFigs, Mc everything.
Laguna,
they got to put a
Laguna
Mick.
Burgers. Laguna Burgers. That was
Yeah,
it.
but that-
Hashtag Laguna Burger. But that was a good burger when we were driving through. Was it New Mexico or Arizona? Remember we stopped at that place? That was a good burger.
Yes, but they're just a one chain operation. I'm not talking
Well,
about
I like that. Do that Ronald Reagan again. Say that again with the one chain.
Well, a one chain operation. I don't know why you have to constantly interrupt me when I'm talking.
I'm not interrupting. I'm just adding to what you're saying. I'm in agreement. I could just.
Did you see that behind you? Do we need to fear that? Let's
No, we don't have to fear this.
Nah.
No, because
I'll let him go on this one.
Well, what is it? You got a robot that has guns in its hands. It's standing like a person and it's shooting target. It's
Right.
target practice.
okay,
And it's hitting
so
the
what?
targets and it's.
Okay, so what?
So do we need to look out for the robots? Are they
No, we
coming? Is
don't.
Skynet a thing?
No, it's science fiction hype.
Hype sells advertising. That's what it comes down to. And advertising's money, and that's the free market system. But
See, the left wants to believe that they can become God, and they'll never become God. They can say they can do this, and they can geno this and geno that, but
That's true.
I'd like to know when they first come up with something they've actually created that is life, when they've actually taken it from absolutely nothing, dirt, absolutely the smallest organism, and actually take that sperm and inject it into a woman and create a human being, which is a mind-boggling creation. When they've done that, then I'll maybe start listening. But this idea of artificial intelligence, where they're going to make a computer that's as intelligent as the human brain, give me a break. Now, yes, the computer can calculate faster than the human can in certain aspects. That's why they've created the computer back, in World War II and all that, and calculating this and that, because it calculates faster. But just the fact of the matter is, of all the cells and the electrons and all the other stuff that's going off in our brain, for them to think that they can make a artificial intelligent robot or a humanoid or this other stuff like Data on Star Trek is a bunch of science fiction crap.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
I mean, I like science fiction.
The joy of the Lord is my strength.
Oh, brother, here he goes again.
The joy
Can you
of
play
the
a different
Lord
one? How about the
is my
one
strength.
from Rio Lobo?
The joy of the Lord is
Hey,
my
let's sing
strength.
the Rio Lobo song. What's the Rio Lobo?
The joy of
What's the Rio Lobo
Lord
song?
is my strength.
What's the Rio Lobo song? Remember when John
Okay, first
Wayne
of all,
oh my gosh.
the joy of the Lord is my strength. You have to remember.
You realize that nobody cares about that?
Well,
Nobody cares about you playing the
It
ukulele.
talks about who
ukulele.
I am.
Okay.
I never got to say who I am. As a Calvinist, as a Christian, as a conservative.
Yeah, you Calvinists.
As a creationist.
brother. Yeah, they love to annihilate the Arminians, that's for sure.
The joy of the Lord. You had brought something up too. I was just going to comment on.
Science fiction is science fiction. Even this thing about going to Mars,
It's science
there's so much complications to everything. I'd like to go to the moon, I think, again. That'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah, we've been there a number of times.
Yeah, even though my son thinks we haven't. That's another stupidity thing out there.
You mean Q?
Yeah.
He just throws that out to
think
stir
so?
the pot. No question about it. That's the non-moonwalk conspiracy.
So here's the situation. So Obama told, Trump during the election in September was saying that his election, or that there's meddling by the Russians, and that there's problems in the elections. And then Obama came out and said, you're paranoid, you're crazy, there's no meddling going on, everything is fine.
We just moved from the moon to...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I can do that.
It's an eclipse. And
I can do that, okay?
We just moved from...
Can your brain handle
Well,
it?
I was just going to refute some of the non-moon walking conspiracies. Can you imagine that they had to keep that conspiracy going, that we didn't actually go to the moon? You'd have to silence over 400,000 employees at the time it was taking place.
Exactly.
And nobody's come out and said anything.
Yes, exactly.
Well, that pretty much refutes that.
Yes, exactly. What else? What other useless?
Well, in fact, I think
what other useless statics you want to bring out? And I'll just say yes.
Mythbusters. You ever seen the show Mythbusters?
Yes, Mythbusters.
Okay, they debunked all those theories.
Yes, okay,
They've
great.
gone through those.
Right. What else?
And I think the episode is called NASA Moon Landing.
Yes. What else?
So
Go
I'm
ahead.
giving some facts for these kids can go and research on themselves.
Yes.
Don't listen to fake news.
Oh, they don't have to listen to anything. They just listen to us. If they want to know,
don't even listen to us.
No, because we know everything.
Be inspired to research.
Yes,
and to
they
look
don't
and
need to
explore on your
research.
own.
We know everything.
Don't be part of the mob group, the mob thinkers.
Well, they're not mobs. I know everything.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the mob thinkers.
But if they listen to up, they don't need to listen to anything else, right?
They can research and study on their own. They can study.
What other little?
You can't take every word you say as a grain.
Whatever
salt.
useless statistics do you have to bring?
No,
out?
there's no. 12 Apollo astronauts did actually walk on the moon. Well, you can't hide that.
No kidding.
Well, they've tried to. And they continually try to. But I'm just saying, for the mob thinkers out there, make sure you research, you explore the facts correctly. Don't get caught up emotionally, but get caught up.
There's nothing to be emotionally, okay?
They get emotional about it.
It's not. I don't
you
have
get
to
emotional.
I don't have to. I never get emotional.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought you. There's an old song I like that deals with guns. You know, you got to have guns.
That's right. You got to have guns.
You got to have a gun.
God's guns and glory.
Purple lines in the canyon. That's where I long to be with my 3 good companions. Just my rifle, my pony, and me. Gonna hang by some railroad on a limb of a tree. Coming home, sweetheart, darling. Just my rifle, my pony, and me.
See, now the reason
my
that
rifle, my pony, and me.
See, the reason we like that song is because
Whippoorwill in the willow. Could you not whistle?
Why can't I whistle? You're singing. I'll whistle how I want.
Okay, what'd you do with that money that Mom gave you to have singing lessons?
Can we tell them? Can I before you continue? Can I tell them where the song is from?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's Rio Lobo, or is it Rio Lobo or is it El Dorado?
Rio Lobo.
Rio Lobo. It's a John Wayne film, 1958, with
Ricky Nelson,
Dean Martin. Ricky Nelson was a big pop star singer. He was also in the Ozzie Harriet Nelson TV show. John Wayne, obviously, if you don't know John Wayne, you're an idiot. You should watch every John Wayne movie ever made, and you'll be.
I would say you're an idiot.
You're a communist, socialist, Marxist, or socialist if you're not a John Wayne fan. Okay, and if you watch all the John, anyways, he made this movie in '59 with Dean Martin, Ricky Nelson, and John Wayne. Great movie about just bad guys and just how do you deal with a really bad guy.
Good and evil.
Good and evil, plain and simple. And there is good and evil. There is no middle ground. And they sing this song toward the end of the movie or the middle of the movie. Dean Martin, because Dean Martin was a big singer, and so was Ricky Nelson. They just threw this medley in, and then Walter Brennan did what? Yeah. He was doing something with. Did he have a pick or a harmonica?
A harmonica.
He had a harmonica. So you want to watch a good flick, a color flick. I'm telling you, Rio Lobo with John Wayne, Ricky Nelson, and Dean Martin and Walter Brennan. Awesome movie. Okay, so now you can go into my gun, my pony, and me.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, you ready?
Okay. No, it's whippoorwill in the willows sings a sweet melody, riding to Amarillo. Just my rifle, my pony, and me. No more cows to be a roping. No more strays will I see around the bend. She'll be a-waiting for my rifle, my pony, and me.
Thank you very much, Tim, for that terrible rendition of that song. So, if you really want to get the true flavor of who we are,
I think you got it already.
Yeah, I think you've got it all. I think
they're
they
washing
have
themselves out with mouthwash. Get
No.
the true flavor.
See, the problem with socialists, communists, Marxists, progressives, and liberals are they really have no fun. You know, they just have so much
hatred
for this country,
animosity, and the biggest issue they have attitudes.
They have attitudes. They really have attitude. They have an attitude. You know, it's that simple. Okay, what did you pull up there? Okay, so don't forget.
Well,
I got it. Let me say something real quick. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, While the Cigar is Lit, with Bryan and Tim.
That means we run to the cigars out.
The Shed podcast. So we run to the end of the cigar. I can both find a little more because you're not moving yours at all. So the next topic. Oh, I'm sorry. What did you want to say there, boss guy?
No, bring up the next topic.
Presidential painting. I want to talk about the presidential painting because I love art.
We're not going there. Okay. Now the next topic.
Got a pick, I think, of the presidential.
No,
painting.
it's not even on my list.
It's on my list.
We took that one off.
You
Okay.
put it back. He put it
Yeah,
back
because
on.
it's all about me, okay?
He put it
Yeah,
back
because
on.
it's all about me, okay?
Well, no, but it's about artists. It's about
It's not-
culture.
well-
It's about reality. It's about attitudes.
Okay, those two paintings are the worst paintings. Obama looks like he's taking a dump.
Okay.
Okay, Michelle's
That's
look
an
like
observation.
Michelle looks like
That's
she's about
an ob-
ready to murder somebody.
That's an observation.
the,
That's good.
The paintings they're terrible. Period.
It's all about attitude.
And that's Obama. See, let me. I hate to do this, but let me just give you the Obama
No,
rant.
let's stick with
Can
the
I do the
president's
Obama
painting.
rant first?
Okay, well, let's get it over. Okay, everybody's falling asleep.
No, they're not falling asleep
Well,
when
they
I
are
give them
because
the
they want
Obama
to know
rant.
more about the art behind
No,
it.
they
and what's-
don't.
Oh, they do. Because they want to know. They want to reason.
They don't
just
want to be
wanna-
bored. See, you can bore people.
I don't think.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
can bore people.
Yes, because you
All
get
my
in-
students, they never said I was a teacher for 27 years. As
well.
a professor, they didn't think I was boring.
Well, you didn't hear the sub
Oh,
story.
really? The surveys? I didn't read the
So can I
surveys.
tell you my rant about Obama? So here it is. Here's the fact.
Well, that's why the painting exemplifies your. It's going to exemplify your rant. So go ahead with your rant because the painting shows your rant. That's what I think is exciting about the painting.
If you look at Obama in the picture,
Get the picture there.
okay, so see, this is what people can't understand.
He has an attitude.
He has an attitude. He hates this country.
He
Okay,
has a
now that's
dislike.
hard. He can I make one comment without you making another comment?
Yes.
I mean, seriously, really.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Really.
But wait. I'm trying to keep people
Okay,
awake.
so you people don't want to believe this, but this is the facts of the matter. Number one, Obama's father was a communist. His mother was a communist. His mentor in Hawaii was a communist. Frank something right, Frank Davis something. He was a communist. His pastor in Chicago was a communist.
He was a nutcase.
That bomb guy that blew up people back in the 70s, Ayers was a communist, okay? When you grow up with communists all the time and they're constantly telling you this country is evil, where does that go? Does that just all of a sudden go away? No, it's his belief. And so when you look at the picture of him, okay?
Where's the painting?
Yeah, where's the painting here?
Keep the
He's
painting.
not doing a very good job here.
It's just not coming up clear. We got a next podcast. We're gonna have to do something about that light. It's
Okay.
putting a big glare on the TV.
all right.
Well, the
so
painting is important. I mean, you're getting a glare off the TV with
It's
the
okay
painting.
though. We can still see that. It's just
yeah, let's just put it up there at least.
it up
You know,
there
this is
and
our
leave it.
first podcast.
We'll
If you
deal
have a
with it.
problem with our podcast, let us know. Just say this stinks and we don't want to watch you again. And we probably won't do another one. Or we might do another one if you're a liberal, communist, socialist, Marxist, or progressive. Okay? Okay, so Obama's there just sitting there. Look at the size of his hands.
Okay, it's an attitude. It's okay. Now, good. You're making observations. Good.
His face is anger. Okay, Obama hates this country because of what we did in Africa.
It's all about attitude.
It's all about colonialism, and that if it wasn't for the white man, I don't know where they live in this delusional world that Europe was all white. Where do you think they were just going to stay in Europe the rest of their life? And then all of Africa was all Muslim, and they were slaughtering people day and night. Where do you think everything was going to
Now,
go?
Q, I can get in on this, can I? Because the painting itself. Let's deal with the painting because it explains a lot. It's a blatant announcement. It's a subliminal commentary on the legacy of Obama.
What a legacy.
That's the whole point. Look at the painting. First of all, it shows attitude. It shows a self-centeredness. It shows an ego. It shows a pride. That painting is self-gratification, which to me is what's about the painting, the strength of it. He simply has done little, if anything, other than a token of himself or of self. And that's what that painting reveals. And you just brought up a couple of issues, though. If you look at it, one, let's be honest with it as a painting. It's bright. It's decorative. It has flat areas. There's a massive wallpaper background. It's a floral motif of Obama's heritage that deals with his different countries that he's from Hawaii, etc.
And what country he was born in? Obviously, he was born in Hawaii.
It's brocaded. It's illustrative, portrait. Very little. There's very little physical feeling. Like you said, it's a very large. His hands are huge. The figurative aspect is very flat. To me, the painting by the artist Ken Hindy, I think it's Wiley, it shows the flatness of his works. It's almost very illustrative. It's not a rich painting, except for the brightness, the color, the motif, the decorative aspect of it. But there's a very flatness to it, an illustrative flatness, and even with the background, it's a very dominating background.
It's terrible.
It's a dominating background. Not saying it's terrible, but it reveals
I
what
can
we're
say
talking.
terrible,
you
right?
can say, yeah, like a terrible movie, like a bad movie.
I
like
can
a
say
bad
it's
book.
terrible.
Yes,
That's terrible,
yes.
right?
Yes. And most of Wiley's
and you don't think
paintings,
she's even worse?
Yeah, well, it's.
I mean, look at that dress.
Now,
Why
that's
they
a different artist. That's a completely
why
different
do you turn
artist.
that into a giant parachute?
That's a different artist.
Because they haven't finished her face.
Question.
About art, the artist has previous work. Should any of that artwork be considered? Should he have maybe not been selected because of some of his previous artwork?
Yeah, because some of it's a lot of people being killed and everything.
Two of them, two others. He takes a lot of old art history motifs or themes and then projects them with a black figure. And there's only two of them that shows a beheading. There's two other
white
samples
people.
of two white ladies.
See, it all goes back to the
Whitey
hatred of
thing.
white.
It's called a whitey thing. Even the artist himself said it's a whitey thing. That's why Wiley, if you understand Wiley himself, I think he's an illustrator. And he just simply uses conflict and controversy to promote his work, okay? And he's been successful at it. He's financially successful with that.
And you're not, right?
I'm not successful at all, no. Then we're not going...
But you're a good painter.
I'm a good painter.
Okay, so let's go into that for a second. So I will in a minute, but I want to get in it. So you've been painting for most of your life, correct?
Correct.
And your paintings are really good, would you say? I mean, you're a good painter.
They're good.
So why are you a failure at painting?
Just happens to be a life loop that I'm in. And,
a life loop.
A life loop. I call it a life loop. People don't see
well,
it.
if you want to own some of Timothy Walter's art, okay, because he is a really good artist, and if you commission him, it's called he has all these terminologies. It's called art specific. Okay, so if you want an art specific piece put in your house, he's got this beautiful buffalo that's got a donger on it that's about 7 inches long.
All right, this is supposed to be family friendly.
Well, I know. I'm just saying it's got the buffalo donger.
It's a male buffalo. Okay.
But don't you think its thing on it is a little bigger?
I don't focus my attention on it.
But it's the only thing you can focus on.
I think
can you pull up that his buffalo for me?
No, we don't have it. We don't have it.
We don't have it. But
he can go to my website.
Did you hear about the portrait about the hidden
sperm?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on the right temple.
There's more than one though. There's one.
Correct. Wiley projects the sperm, the motif, the form.
Is that true or is that fake?
No, that's true. It's true, and you can see it on his portrait.
I know that it looks like it, but a lot of people are saying that it's just coincidence.
No, he purposely does that. I think he's even come out and said that.
Why does he do that?
Personal interest. He likes controversy. He likes conflict. He likes.
Why would Obama pick somebody?
Because Obama is who he is.
What I said before, Obama has a self-centered
He's a narcissist.
attitude.
Obama's a narcissist.
He wants people to see this painting for that type of... He has nothing else in his legacy. So he has to have something. When you walk into the National Portrait Gallery, you got to have something that's going to pop out.
But that's going to hang in the White House, isn't it?
No, that's in the National Portrait Gallery. There are two different types of portraits that are done. One for the White House and then one's for the National Portrait Gallery.
I'd like to see what the one is of George Bush and former presidents. Do they show other pictures of all the other presidents?
You could get on Wikipedia and check all those up to, I think, Jimmy Carter for the White House portrait. And then after that,
the other people won't be able to see it, but
yeah, they're not going to see it. Those are just traditional. It's traditional. So the point is.
Well, here's the most untraditional one: is who's that?
John F. Kennedy, pointing down, right.
That was a variation, a nice variation.
But those are all white male bigots, homophobes, everything. So we could just really kill all the whites, and everybody on Earth would be happy.
To me, the painting itself, though, just is it's an odd, overly jumbled mess of ideas.
So I want to.
And so goes the
hold
arts.
on one second. I just want to let everybody know that this is the While a Cigar is Lit podcast, okay? And my name is Bryan, and this is my brother Tim.
Tim Young.
He is the least educational. Actually,
and you go to Timothy W. Young.
We're at 1 hour, so if anybody has gotten this far, They know who you are.
Really?
Oh, yeah, because they
Don't
saw the
forget to
beginning.
subscribe to In the While the Cigar is Lit podcast, correct? And don't forget to ask for our free T-shirts that we don't have yet. Okay?
Well, that's only if they go to the London Gallery of Art.
Because
Do you want to put that pic up again?
this is our
Do you want to put that
this
picture
is
up?
our this
The
is our,
London
no, you're not
Gallery.
going to put it up again. This is our first and only
If you
podcast.
go and you send a text with your picture of you standing in front of it, you get a free
And make sure you
While the Cigars
send
Lit T-shirt.
you send responses about how things look and everything. If you like our look, if you like our studio, because I did spend about $40,000 building this studio, and
Well, it did cost a lot for the props. This is my,
it is a
this
prop.
Is my sweet
Okay,
prop
so
for Diamond and Silk.
yeah,
and this
we're-
is my sweet prop for my favorite buddy Terrence Williams.
yeah, so we're not necessarily into ourselves. We do want to let other people
And
know. that-
hashtag for Kosciuszko.
And we will have any guests. We're going to have guests. We're going to have guests here. We're going to have
my daughter's gonna be a guest.
we're gonna have all our
coming on,
presidents.
'cause she has a podcast out.
we're going to do
K-Pop,
interviews with Ronald Reagan
with
and
Maggie
Jimmy
and,
Stewart or
Susan.
Jimmy.
called K-pop.
And we're just going to be talking about different social issues that need to be addressed. And
We're developing the chemistry.
We're doing. This is our first podcast.
You said it
and,
about 15 times.
and,
I think everybody's got the idea that it's probably
This is our first podcast. Now, don't forget that we're smoking Alec Bradley cigars today, and these are our favorites. My favorite cigars by far. Here's the situation. Okay, so I've been to a lot of cigar. I want to do this a little bit because I think this is important. I've been to a lot of cigar shops across the country. I'd say about 100. Okay, because I've traveled the country when I was working with SCX slot cars because I'm into toys and everything. And I visited a lot of stores while I'm traveling because I visited the country. I've been around it about 7-8 times. About 50,
Have you been
60,000
around?
about 57,000 miles driven around the country
So
and
you've
all
been
that.
around.
I've been around the country a lot and I've visited a lot
No,
of
wait a minute.
little
When you say
cigar shops.
around, you
I've
mean
been
around a sphere?
Right.
Well, that leads with flat earthers.
Well, we're not flat
going to-
earthers,
Okay,
no.
we're not going
Okay.
to flat earthers. Okay.
So one thing I notice when I go into cigar shops is they,
What do you notice?
well, number one, they don't carry the Alec Bradley line. Okay.
A lot of them.
A lot of them don't. They think that they have to carry the $10 to $20 cigars only. And they don't have a good selection of 10 and under cigars. And most of your Alec Bradley line, now they have an American, a blend line, which are like 5 different cigars, churros, Maduros, American, what's that other leaf?
Toros.
The Toros,
Toros
right.
is size.
Right.
Robusto.
But the
Toro,
whiter one,
the Churchill.
the-
You're
the
talking
Churchill.
about the Maduro, the natural.
The naturals, yes.
Yeah.
They don't carry a lot of those cigars, and so when you go in there, they're missing a lot of customers for that price point. But our favorite cigar shop, which is in Maumee, Ohio, called the Cigar Affair, that's where I get all of my cigars because they carry a good selection of Alec Bradley cigars. And so I just wanted to make that side note. Now, the other topic that we were supposed to get into, which is the fake news Russian coercion and the Russian collusion issue, which is absolutely a bunch of commie, liberal, Marxist.
It's fake news.
And
and hopefully it's winding down.
But with the 13 indictments, they're all Russians. But this all goes back to Obama saying that there's no Russian problem because they didn't want to taint. They didn't want to taint Hillary Clinton winning, so they wanted to play all this down. And then once Trump won, they could not believe it. They were literally in hysterica mode. And now now they're finding out all these protests that were right after Trump winning were all sponsored by Russians. Go figure that.
Do your research.
But the fact of the matter is, people don't want to understand the truth. Go ahead. What do you have to say for us?
Well, Trump retweeted the majority of Russian ad spend happened after the election.
Yes.
We shared the fact, but very few outlets have covered it because it doesn't align with the main media narrative of Trump
Yep.
and the election. Now, with that being said, there's actually breaking news. Mueller's move on lawyer puts heat on Manafort and Gates. So right now, Mueller just released that he is accusing Manafort and Gates of secretly funneling $4 million through offshore accounts to pay for it.
It's another fake news. I've learned this, people, that you don't listen to anything the media says until a week later, because then the truth will come out, okay? Trump is way ahead of all this, okay? Trump's a time traveler, if you didn't know that, okay? So he's well ahead of all this stuff.
He's got good staff. He's got good backup.
There's nothing here. This is just to... See, here's what I really get upset about is that...
Do you get upset about things?
I get upset about things. That this whole special counsel, they literally... Why would they want to end something that gives them an income? You know what I'm saying?
Tell me about it.
They can just keep spending money, and
Tell
they
me
keep getting money.
They spend other people's money. They spend other people's money. And they buy their big homes. They buy their big houses. They buy their big security. Something else that was new that came across the pike today, which I thought was kind of funny, is talking about the Olympics.
I don't care about the Olympics,
and that's fine. But there's
the Olympics are really a useless joke nowadays.
I think the athletes have an opportunity to show themselves in their particular fields, and
I don't think
once
so.
they do it, they do it. But what's curious is one of my favorite activities, or one of my favorite Olympic events, is curling. I love curling. Love to watch them. And just today they found out that the Russian curling contestant, one of them, was caught taking steroids.
Why would you need steroids for curling?
Exactly. That's what's funny about it. First of all, the Russians were supposedly had been boycotted, or they were eliminated because of their steroid and drug taking problems. So they began to became part of the events by being non-Russians. So you have these non-Russians that are competing, but the Russian curler is bulking up with steroids. That just came out today. Can you imagine that? I think that was kind of funny.
Now, can I ask you a question?
You sure can.
Do you really find that interesting?
Fascinating.
So my brother and I, we watched
Wait, I want to bring that picture up for you just to show the differences from American curler to a Russian.
That's good. That's a good one.
Oh, my God.
Tested positive for doping. So you needed to bulk up to be a curler. Now the fellow on the left side was not a Russian. He was another
Tim
one.
and I, we watched
like,
an interesting film last night called Tinker
Tailor Soldier Spy
with Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman played in it.
Very interesting film.
It was a very tight British film. I must have mentioned that a number of times.
A million times.
Watching it.
It was really, and he didn't understand it because his brain is very small in this aspect. You can't, you have a problem with understanding large topics. You know what I'm saying?
Mom always thought you had an inferiority complex. Because of that, you always pick on me and belittle me.
I never
and
had
put
an
me down.
inferiority complex.
But what about the film?
Well, I thought the film was actually I wouldn't mind watching it again because
to understand all the intricacies.
Because basically intricacies. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Smiley, which was Gary Oldman, his name was Smiley. They had to find a Russian mole in basically the MI6, the CIA version.
It's a true story.
Of the British intelligence agency, and they had to, and this Smiley guy had to find a way of finding out the mole, and
Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Spy,
and you get into the intricacies. Oh, who cares? It's one of the little 3% that I don't really care about. But it's a good flick. See, the problem with movies nowadays is I'm going to call it.
It took a while to get into it, though.
Well, not if because you were constantly.
No, you kept saying, "Oh, this is slow. This is drag."
Well, but see,
it bounced around.
See, you won't let me use constant interrupt. I'm going to call it. I'm going to start calling a new. It's going to be. I'm going to start calling movies that are. I'm going to call it the Casablanca effect. Okay. So the Casablanca effect, you could classify Casablanca as probably one of the top. We're over with?
We're 10 minutes over. I say we go to 1:30, so you better suck those down.
Okay, now you just interrupted me in my great dialogue.
You stop talking. I was talking to him.
So I'm going to call the effect of movies nowadays. I'm going to call it the Casablanca effect.
Casablanca?
Casablanca effect.
Casablanca effect.
Casablanca effect.
Okay. Now, why are you going to call it the Casablanca effect?
Because Casablanca was probably one of the top 10 movies ever made. Okay.
It's a
Would
good
you
movie.
agree with that
Oh,
as
yeah,
top 10? All right.
absolutely.
Oh my gosh. So we actually agree on something.
Uh-huh.
Oh, brother.
Uh-huh.
Okay, it had dialogue, it had a story, and it had a script, and it had great actors. Okay, and so I would classify Tinker Tailor Smith as a Casablanca.
All the actors that were in it. I can't even name them.
I think it was a Casablanca effect. I think the Greatest Hour or the Darkest Hour is a Casablanca effect movie. Okay, because of the just the sheer entertainment of the movie. Okay. And I'm going to start. That's going to be my new. I'm going to call it the C effect of a movie.
The second half of it was intense. Once you started figuring out what was going on, it was just, oh my goodness, is this going to happen? Is this not going to happen? How's this playing out? I mean, it was hard for me to keep.
And I've been wanting to see that movie for a year, but I kept. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
Remember why you didn't want to see it?
No, I see. I get okay. First of all,
It's emotional. You get emotional.
I do it. I don't like movies that have negative endings to it. Okay, I want to be happy at the end of a movie. Okay, or I want to have vindication or some happiness of a movie. Okay, and Casablanca. It had at the ending. Where they're in the airplane and Claude Rains. He basically says, round up all the usual suspects and everything. It's
the ending was fascinating. Just the way they developed that and produced it, because they had to make the plane that was in the background. They made a smaller version to get more spatial depth. So that's not a real plane. It was a condensed and scaled down plane to put in the background with the fog effect.
It's the same thing. It's scenes in a movie that grip you,
and I didn't see any paintings in it though. I was watching for some paintings, but I didn't see any come up.
It's amazing.
What?
It's amazing how good of an actor Gary Oldman is.
He is very good.
I mean,
a good actor.
For him to play two different parts like that so well, I didn't even know it was Gary Oldman. I mean, he just got so wrapped up in the character in the Darkest Hour.
Especially the Darkest Hour. So the key scene of the Darkest Hour, to me, is the most impacting scene. That it just shows you power, it shows you humility, it shows you depth. Is when the king comes in.
King George VI.
I mean, he is. Winston Churchill is just depressed. He's going to give in, and the king just says to him, "You have my full support."
Full support.
And it just changes. It's like, you have my full support.
Change the dynamic.
Whole dynamics of everything. It gives me goosebumps nowadays. Now to think about it.
That's a great scene. That's
just a powerful scene. I want to see it again just for that scene. And it's like and we go to. It's a Mad World we watched a couple weeks ago, which probably is the funniest movie ever made. I'm sorry. To me, it's the funniest movie ever made. And the scene where Jonathan Winters just destroys the gas station. I mean, it's just, there's a scene, or there's a story about where two police officers, were in that area, and there's a gas station there, and then they come back later in the day, and the whole gas station's gone because it was all a prop. The whole station was a prop, okay? And Jonathan Wilson just destroys the whole gas station. I mean, it is the funniest scene in the movie.
Well, that's a good funny scene.
Top 5.
It's just some of the funny scenes and some of the funny lines are in the beginning when
but what I'm getting at is that's a C effect movie. There are a lot of C effect movies that just grip you, okay? Now, I saw a movie recently a couple days ago, which you told me about, called Hidden Figures.
Unbelievable.
Which is about African Americans, which I thought was a great movie. I didn't want to see it at first because I heard and maybe I was prejudging, but there was like a preaching about it, but I didn't necessarily got that away after seeing the movie. But the scene where she has to run to the bathroom and then comes back with what's your name? What's his name standing? Where have you been? What do you? Well, I have to run literally to all the way a half a mile and back to go to the bathroom.
To a colored bathroom.
Yeah, to a colored
section
bathroom.
Yes, it's a powerful scene, and she cuts loose on him. Now, clarity for that, if you ever see Human Figures, which is it's an American dream, and it's the untold story of black women mathematicians.
And you actually got that.
Who were actually called computers. They were called computers at that time.
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't think African Americans had a brain.
Well, that's the mentality that people.
But that's the way the Democrats portray them, right?
Yes, the Democrats like to put them on their little plantation and keep them dumb.
Okay.
But there are many
but
out there.
African Americans are very intelligent people.
Beyond intelligent, yes.
Beyond,
these black mathematicians. Well, the one with Catherine Goebel Johnson, she could compute and did algebra and mathematics in such a manner that John Glenn refused to fly, to take off, until she actually calculated.
Hidden Figures, there it is.
Until she actually calculated. I got the book. The book's fascinating. If you once you see the movie, you want to get the book and read about all of the other ladies that are in
the short little stubby
NASA.
one.
It was NACA, and then it was NASA.
The short stubby one. She's the one that programmed the IBM computer.
That was Dorothy Vaughan. Yes.
Anyways, that was a side note about movies. I would call that a C-effect movie.
But I want to explain something.
I thought that was a very good made movie.
It's a wonderful movie, and that can promote the development and what blacks in education, and that can be more exciting than sometimes these Black Panther superhero movies.
10 minutes?
That's all you got.
Which all we have is 10 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Till we get to an hour 30.
What happens after an hour 30?
You guys are going to have to tell us about how those cigars were, and we'll wrap it up.
But just to clarify the bathroom scene, that they had to kind of condense a lot of the
aspects. I understand that, because it's called, what do they call it? It's called...
well, there's artistic license.
Our artistic license. I get it. You always want to bring that up. Okay, fine. Why do you have to make it... What's all this stuff here?
Because I can't think fast enough. I have to have my notes. And but that one scene where she comes in, Catherine Goebel Johnson... But actually, it was Mary Jackson, the lady. The lady on the left. Mary Jackson is the one that actually ended up having to run to a bathroom, a colored bathroom. But they took those and spliced it together.
Yeah, but that's the same thing they did in the movie Darkest Hour, where Churchill really never was on the train. But we don't know that for sure because he disappeared a lot of times.
Yes, he did go AWOL, they said. And he would go amongst the people and have conversations.
But they do that in every movie they make.
I'm not correct.
So what's the problem? Why are you making a big deal of it?
I'm just clarifying the usage of that and how they did that scene. It was a wonderful scene.
So anyway, those are the movies that we've seen are commenting on. Okay, so don't forget that this is...
but don't you find it fascinating?
This is...
John Glenn wouldn't even go...
I know you said that five freaking times.
One time. He wouldn't even go up until he had
While the Cigar
Catherine
is lit, Tim and Bryan Young podcast. And again, this is our first podcast and probably our last because most people probably could care less.
What we try to do, what we're doing
is
we're digging
fun.
Into the a little bit. We're digging underneath.
If this turns into something that people really want to watch, we're going to go live broadcasts around the world and. We're going to be going anywhere where people want us to go. And
well, we're going to Spain because we have to go to the Prado to see the Velázquez painting. So we'll talk about that in another podcast.
I can't wait.
Go ahead. What did you have to say there, boss man?
Oh no, I want to go to Spain.
No, it's not boss man. That's Q.
Q.
Code word. Q. That's Q.
So what do you think of our first show here? What would you give a rating of this first show?
You don't bring this up for a rating.
Why? Because the people are obviously watching.
I'm waiting for people to contact us that are standing in front of Whistle Jacket in the London Gallery of Art. So if they send me a picture,
I guarantee you nobody is doing that.
I'm going to give them a free.
They will not do that for sure. Okay. Period. No one is going to know that Whistle Jack was in that movie. You're the only one on this planet of 7 billion people that know it was in the movie.
I missed it.
Are you telling me that people that have watched that movie, give me a percentage out of 100%?
I would say I'm going to give my audience 50%.
Well, in the room alone, 1/3.
Well, the first thing that came to mind was that's not Buckingham Palace. I don't remember that painting in it. So that's what to me was fascinating. About fell out of my seat. So right away I'm going, well, that's not Buckingham Palace. So they had to find another location. And that's when I found out Whistle Jacket.
Well, yeah, but if they knew...
What was funny was one of my favorite paintings.
But is it in Buckingham Palace?
Never was.
Well, then why would they have it in that
Because
building.
I tried to explain earlier, but I was being interrupted, that Sarah Greenwood, the interior designer, she had to find another location. They couldn't film in Buckingham Palace, so she had to find another location to substitute that had that airiness. She called it a tired airiness of that room to substitute for Buckingham Palace.
All I'm saying is,
Yes.
why didn't they take that painting out? Because it wasn't in Buckingham Palace, and somebody like you caught it.
Because
Because they used the whole room. They
because
used the whole
most people
room.
don't know about these things.
Right, but all I'm saying is they should have
Okay,
taken
so
it out.
for example,
No,
the movie.
they didn't need to take it
All right,
out.
so if
Leave
you're
it.
so for the example of the movie Tobruk or not Tobruk, Dunkirk.
Dunkirk.
I was in the Navy. Okay, I know what Navy ships look like. You can't take a tug and put a gun on it and make me believe that that's a military ship. And that's what they did. They basically took a tug and put a gun on it to make me believe that's a military ship. Okay, those are just little things that your average person.
I haven't seen Dunkirk.
Well,
I don't know that they made it seem like it was a battleship or a ship.
It's not. It's supposed to be a cruiser or a destroyer, and you can't make a tug
Well, of course
a destroyer.
you can't. Of course you can't. But I'll have to see it to analyze.
Those are just
it.
little things.
Were there
It's
any
like-
paintings in the film? I'll have to check that out. What do we got to see that? We'll have to see that together.
No, that's a bomb movie.
No, it wasn't a bomb.
Oh,
actually, it was
terrible.
quite successful. We'll have to check it out.
So we're going to be that's basically now this cigar. See, as you notice, this cigar has been burning pretty consistently.
And some people are going to get audio only, like they can listen to this on the way to work. So you can't say, "Oh, as you can see,"
Oh,
they
okay,
might not
I'm
You
be
don't
sorry.
say that. Yeah, anybody knows that. I mean,
All right, as you cannot see this cigar,
or might be able to see.
this cigar burns circularly all the way down. All right. A lot of times with the cheap inferior cigars, they have plugs in them. Now, my brother buys a lot of these cheap cigars that have plugs in them. And therefore, you need about 70,000 pounds of pressure to suck them, okay?
I don't look for plugged cigars, though.
Normally, an Alec Bradley, I have less than 1% Alec Bradleys. Matter of fact, I've never had Alec Bradley hardly that has plugs in it.
Hardly.
Hardly ever.
Okay.
For the
That's
value,
a
you
low
just can't get it.
percentage, then.
And they're just a nice, mild cigar. Now, let me make
Well, there are
this...
variations.
Let
Some
me
are
make
strong,
this-
some
yes.
are full, some are light.
Yes. But let me make
Characteristics
this-
are different. Some have a pepperiness to them.
Okay.
Some have a fruitiness to them. Some have a coffee, a chocolate. There's lots of terms.
Let me
that are
make this
used.
very clear to you that your average, if you've never smoked a cigar in your life, you want to make sure you get a very mild cigar to start with. If you're going to do it just once, don't jump into a heavy because you'll be knocked over. Because I knew this one kid that had a cigar and he actually threw up after he had it. Now I don't want to emphasize who that person was because I think it was your son.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we gave him the wrong one to start with. Yes. Got him
Yeah.
sick.
Got him sick. Threw up right after we had it.
Yeah, in Darkest Hour, I think they spent, it was either $20,000 or $30,000 on cigars for Gary Oldman to practice
Unbelievable.
smoking. I think it was like some 400 cigars he had to smoke, and then he had intestinal problems during the filming and practicing for that.
That's terrible.
I find smoking in movies interesting also. You bring that up with cigars is the famous movie Hatari with John Wayne and Red Buttons. Everybody, by the time you're done with that movie, you're gagging almost because everybody's smoking cigarettes over and over and lighting up again and again and again. But that was something that was used in film for continuity because you had to have the cigarettes always burning because of the different camera angles. They had to stop, move cameras around, they had to shift, they had to take breaks, and they had to have those cigarettes relit, reset up to actually have a natural burning time. And if you look at a lot of those old films, it's fascinating. They spend a lot of time in that continuity with those different camera angles.
Okay, so there you just brought up a point of continuity as a big deal to you. Then why wasn't it a big deal that they had a painting?
Okay, because there wasn't any other type of painting to place in its place.
Well, why don't they just go to the...
Because nobody really
Just
was
get a
caring
paint-
about the painting.
Just get a paint...
It was the whole room. That was the whistle jacket room. Why take whistle jacket off of
Right.
the wall?
And put a different painting there that's actually there in
Because
your
they
average,
did,
your
they
average,
opted not to. That's the only answer I have.
Okay,
they opted
your
not to.
average-
Well, you're just talking about how important it is for them to have a cigarette.
Well, you'd have to cleanse the whole room. You'd have to gut the whole room and put all the stuff that's in supposedly Buckingham Palace into that room. But there was already the atmosphere was already
90%
there.
of the people would not even know that's not Buckingham Palace.
Or
They've
at
never been
least-
to Buckingham Palace.
Or at least remove that painting, and just put a different painting up.
No,
That's
because
it.
see,
Well, you
he's-
can't. You just can't
Okay,
remove
first
a
of all-
George Stubbs. You just
See,
can't.
he's obsessed with this painting. It's crazy.
Why did they bolt? Did they bolt that painting
I think
down?
I think it was bolted.
Because
with-
I've
with
heard
the-
of paintings that have been bolted down before.
Yeah,
Have you?
Yes. Yeah, Edouard Degas. His patrons would
Oh my
chain them.
gosh.
All right. Well, say your goodbyes. Any last things about the cigar, and then we're gonna wrap this up. We'll keep rolling after.
Terrific cigar.
That way we can build up some stuff for Susan to edit and make a little bit of a trailer.
Okay, so this is the While the Cigars Are Lit podcast from In the Shed Productions. And I am Bryan Young.
I'm
and
Tim
this
Young.
is my brother, Tim Young. And
I'm
he's
his
the
older
older brother.
brother.
Obviously, you can tell because I have a full head of hair. And
I don't. I used to. I had a big.
pretty-
We used to have curly hair.
Well, you
Remember,
know,
we had curly hair.
you had a monkey
Both of
butt.
us had curly hair. We have 4 sisters. They all had straight as a poker hair, and we used to go to school.
And
we
my
would
son,
flop
Ryan
our-
Young,
our-
he's the
our hair
director and
around.
producer of the show. We'll have a camera on him later.
While they were
but
trying to curl
right
him.
now, we're just on a cheap budget of $40,000. So we hope you like this podcast, and if you want to hear more of us, then
Subscribe.
just subscribe
And hit the like button.
and hit the like button. Yes, hit the like button because
Subscribe.
we want you to
comment.
like us.
There's
okay?
more things we want to bring in: cultural, artistic, religious, social, political. And those are the things we're going to introduce.
All right. We'll see you later.